Hi everyone, Dr. Laura Neville here. I thought you might like to hear about a real life patient of mine, her journey with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and a treatment that we utilized to really help her. So I will call her Sarah, that's not her real name, but Sarah came to me and she had been diagnosed with hypothyroidism many years ago and was on medication. She had seen a few different doctors over the years and actually found out 2 years prior to coming to see me that she actually had Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune reason for developing hypothyroidism. Not everyone has that, but the majority of people with low thyroid function have it occur because of this autoimmune condition. So Sarah came in and she was suffering with a ton of fatigue, but at the same time, she was having these near panic attacks almost every day. So she was really in a tough spot and felt just really frustrated, like she had had medication for so many years and her thyroid labs sometimes would kind of bounce all around. Her medication dose had to be changed quite often. And she would go through these spells where she felt really well for a while, but then she would always kind of dip back into these extreme fatigue situations and then bouncing around also with the anxiety at the same time. And so we actually changed her medication. She came on into me on something called Armour Thyroid. Armour Thyroid is a wonderful medication for some people, works really well. It wasn't the right medication for Sarah. Because of the fatigue and the anxiety, I was really curious what her thyroid numbers themselves were. So when we ran the blood work, we actually saw that she had too much T3, which is a certain type of thyroid hormone, and not enough T4. And so we switched her from Armour Thyroid to a different thyroid medication. We also changed the dose on that. This is where thyroid management and support becomes somewhat of an art. So you really want to find a physician who's kind of willing to try whatever medication works for you, not just the one that they're comfortable with and the one that they just, write prescriptions right and left for. We want to dig a little bit deeper and make it very individualized and specific to your body. Your body is different than anyone else's, and so we have to really take that into account. With Sarah, we also implemented very simple changes to digestive health. So we switched up a little bit of what she was eating, but we also talked a lot about when and how to eat, something that's very rarely discussed in medical visits. And these things are small tweaks. They're a little bit hard to change because sometimes we're just really in the habit of eating a certain way or a certain amount or at a certain time of day. So we made some very small tweaks. This really helped to improve her digestive health. That's a really key part of any chronic health illness. We always have to look at digestive health and what's going on in the gut itself. So with these few changes over a couple of months, Sarah was no longer experiencing any of the near panic attacks, let alone anxiety at all. She was very stable in that realm. She also had super stable energy levels, so she was able to start exercising and eating a little bit better, which kind of just fueled her own journey to get better faster. So I find with people who are suffering from chronic illnesses, when you're feeling really unwell, you're not able to make all of the changes that are, quote unquote, healthy for you. Eating, more fruits and vegetables, exercising, meditating, going to yoga class, right? All of those things are really hard to do when you're feeling so terrible. And then that brings about the sense of guilt, which I think just feeds into the whole health pathology itself. So we have to be really careful about being gentle with ourselves. And I counsel my patients that all the time. When you're not feeling well, we've got to figure out just simple ways to change that situation slightly so that you're feeling good enough that you can start to implement those things on their own and they don't become so much work and you're not kind of pushing uphill, if you will. So I will sometimes talk to my patients about chronic health issues as like this vicious cycle, right? And it's like this tightly knit problem, symptom, it's like this tight ball. It's our job to poke one or two holes in that circle and allow the ball to start unraveling on its own, to open up and start rolling downhill the health benefits and the health improvements that are seen start to unwind on their own. They gain inertia and momentum. They start to unravel themselves. We have less work to do, and it's very easy to start implementing all of those healthy things that we know we should all be doing. However, making sure that we're gentle with ourselves in the beginning, because those things can be really difficult when you're not feeling well. So I think that's a mindset shift that we all have to take into account, and can be really helpful to just take away the guilt that we feel when we're not doing all of those things. So let me just see my notes here and make sure I told you guys everything. Yeah, so Sarah was feeling just a ton better. All we did was a couple of things, but they were very key points to start with, so that that ball for her could start to unravel on its own and she could get better. Her body could do what it needed to do, and it has that ability to do that if we just allow it to get better. So Sarah's doing super well to this day. We're continuing to kind of peel the onion, if you will, as to further health concerns and get deeper and deeper with that. We would have never been able to get to this point had she not had her medication slightly changed, so that she was just feeling good enough to start with. So remember that not one medication is a good fit for everyone, and also remember that piece about the guilt, because if we can remove that, we have much more room to be kind to ourselves and to move towards health with a lot more ease. All right, thanks for joining me today, and I'll bring you more of these patient stories soon. Thanks.